You guys have art marketing and business related questions, and we are going to answer them live for the next hour or so. So, great opportunity to get your marketing and business related art, photography, and creative conundrums answered. So, for the next hour or so, have a question, ask it. I'm just pinning a comment here on IG. Have a question, ask it. Um, we're answering any and all questions. I think Nick's going to join me for a second. I have Juan from my marketing team on here as well. So if customers have marketing related questions or technical issues, we can solve those as well. So all you have to do is just leave a question. It's Friday, open line Friday for lack of a better term. And we love doing these sessions and just sort of saying, hey, this is our store on the internet. We've opened the doors. Come on in, ask any and all questions you might have about social media marketing, pricing, branding, how to get into galleries, doing fairs and shows, how to run a live broadcast yourself, which all of you should be doing more of, merchandising, what your lineup should look like. Like, there's just not a good source of this type of information anywhere else because no one ever talks about it. And, I was laughing, not laughing, but I got an email this morning from a professor, and he was like professor emeritus. I don't remember which university, but it was something in South Carolina or North Carolina. And I was like, hey, why don't you come on and jump on the podcast with me and explain to me why there are no classes in college that teach creatives how to actually monetize their talents as opposed to art history and the various different masters and sexual orientations and poor until after death and all of these stories that we all know about all the normal artists and famous artists. Like, why do they not teach these classes when you were in college? How to actually monetize a creative business, right? How to actually grow an art or a photography business year after year, how to approach your pricing and lineup such that you can actually start making money with your talents. And it's why we exist, because there's just so little of that information out there. There's just so little of that information out there. So to the extent you guys have questions, we're answering all of them, and then we can go. Yeah, Christmas, I don't know what EBSQ art is, right? Yeah, this is interesting. Chris, I think it's gonna Christmas? No, Christmas corgi. Oh, I love corgis. No, it's not just all about wall art. It's like, our websites are set up for wall art, but we're also just an e-commerce shop too. And it's like, no matter what your creative talent is, you have the same marketing problem that's plaguing everyone else. So no, it's for everything. This is a great question. How do you tell when a buyer is scamming you? It's If it doesn't pass the smell test, it doesn't pass the smell test. It's no different in art buyer small cup designs than it is anything else. Like, you got to just use your gut and your intuition. If it's anything aside from they've gone to your website and paid, or they're paying you immediately, or you're getting PayPal or Venmo, depending how it goes immediately, then it's a scam. If they ask you to do anything, if they ask you to do NFTs, that is all a scam, right? So that's what I would say. Carol Lovelace Studio, that's great. Where can I buy used booth setups? Craigslist. Craigslist is the ultimate. But I also really like, when you're looking to buy something like that, and especially looking to buy something like that used, if it's a booth setup, start on Craigslist, then hit Facebook Marketplace, then hit OfferUp. OfferUp is like a third-party app, Karen, that you have to download. But all of those are super, super helpful. And then, to the extent that you're going to do an in-person show or fair, I have the most epic guide. So it's like one of the guides that I'm like more proud of than anything I've ever written on how to do shows and fairs. Juan, what is the keyword on it? Do you remember? Is it shows?
Yep, it is shows.
Yeah. So Karen, leave a comment on this Instagram post with the word shows. Just type shows and leave a comment. And what I'll do is I'll send this guide to your Instagram DM box. It's also on the podcast too, if you want to listen to it, but I will level you up in a crazy amount of time on how to approach an in-person show or fair. What are the things that you need to pay attention to? What can you do before, during, and after to maximize the revenue that you get out of that show? And then primarily how to capture as many email addresses as possible. Like, there's so much that you can get out of shows and fairs if you do them correctly. And almost no artists or photographers do it. And it breaks my heart because we love love, okay, in-person events. They are tremendous. The best way to sell art or photography always has been, always will be in person, face to face. Okay. It just is. Now, you guys can't be all places at once. You're geographically fixed on this planet. We all are. So yes, you have to have a website, but I like, we encourage our customers always to do as many shows and fairs as they can in a year. And it should be part of, like everyone talks about, like, oh, you got to eat a balanced diet, right? You got to have protein and vegetables and legumes and beans. It's the same with growing an art of photography business. Like, I think every artist or photographer should attempt to do at least one in-person show or fair a quarter, which is like a really good, like, starting point. Like, can you do, one a quarter, or more if you can, right? Interesting. It was a website that was set up for artists. I wonder why it folded. Chris McCorkey, when did it fold, that company? I've never actually heard of it. I'd like to take a look. Yeah, Patricia Murphy, tech issues for sure. It succumbs to all of us. But what is the number one fix all solve for tech issues? Just restart the thing. Just restart the thing. If you restart the thing, it fixes 90% of the stuff. Can artists help each other in marketing on Instagram or Facebook? Do AS of artists help each other out? They do. They do on a regular basis. It's more knowledge-based sharing than it is, artists helping one another out, because it's sort of like the blind leading the blind. Most artists and photographers don't market consistently, right, all the time. And so most have small followings. So that's a thing. But one thing that I do like about artists helping artists out, Dwayne, is that there's this notion, and I'm 45, so I'm Gen X. I'm not a millennial, okay? But the millennials have mastered the art of the collaboration, right? Like, there's so many musical artists that are doing songs with other musical artists, and the idea is sort of, hey, you've got a big following, I've got a big following. Let's collaborate on a song, expose my music to your audience, and you expose your music to my audience. That's a fair trade, right? So there are some things that you can do. Official Rodney, Ron, what is our official line of whether or not they can cancel their MailChimp accounts now?
If you are in Copilot, yes, for sure, you can just pause the account. You don't need it.
Yeah, but what is our official advice? Are we just taking them down to free?
Taking them down to free, yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah. So Rodney, that's the official answer on that. I really wanted to hear this. It really is not your fault, but mine is the only one up here that seems to have frozen. Yeah, I don't know about that, Patricia. I think you need to, like I said, restart. Chris is like, some of us are so old, in person is how we started. Well, I've got Nick with me, you guys, and Nick, I've opened it up to open Q&A. We've been getting like a tremendous amount of questions recently. I don't know when things tipped, but something tipped recently where, like, the questions are really, really coming in. We're able to help a tremendous amount of people, and it's an awesome thing for us, because it lets us expose you guys to what we do as a business internally at Art Storefronts. Like, one of the most common refrains that we get is like, oh yeah, okay, Art Storefronts, like, I can get a website anywhere. Why do I need to be here? Because a website is not enough. What happens after you get the website? How are you going to approach pricing? Who's going to teach you to market on social media? How are you going to keep up with those trends? How are you going to know what's important? How are you going to have artists that are selling over $1 million a year to follow? There's none of this going on, and there's none of it out there. And so what this allows us to do is answer your questions directly, whether you're a customer or not, and give you a taste of what we think is so important. Do you believe in copywriting your artwork? I see more copies now. I mean, poor man's maybe. You can do a poor man's copyright, Small Cup Designs, which is essentially take a photo of the work, print it out on a piece of paper, stamp the envelope, and mail it to yourself, and then keep that in a file. Then you at least have some legal copyright, but we just don't see it.
If you have metadata on your image too, like if you have a digital of it, or like if you take a picture of it with your phone, there's metadata in that image file automatically from your phone that has the date in it that you can't change of when it was created. And so when you put something into work, like if you publish something or whatever, technically, it doesn't mean you have the copyright on it, but if you're the first one to put it into action, you kind of do legally. So you don't need to do copywriting. I think it's a total waste of your time and money. You're not big enough yet. And even when you're selling like millions of dollars of work, maybe it's worth doing. I've still never even heard of any of our, artists or photographers that are selling hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions of dollars a year. Like even Jonah Allen, like not even talking about copyrights. So I don't think that that's an issue. Okay, looks like Pat walked away, so I'm gonna look at your comments and your questions, guys. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, back on the MailChimp question. I just wanted to also add to any Art Storefronts members that are on Copilot. And by the way, for anyone that doesn't know what Art Marketing Copilot is, it's a service that we have where we're your marketing assistant. We do your marketing for you at a very budget-friendly price. We don't do all of your marketing. We do a big portion of your marketing that what we say is delegatable, because a lot of your marketing is delegatable. You know, a lot of it, what that means is that it's not something that you need to be doing. It's something that you can have an assistant doing, that, you know, like sharing your artwork with a description, running your sales, you know, running promotions during like, you know, well, the spring art selling season, Pat, is coming up. So there's a lot of this going on, but every month there are art selling days, holidays, whatever you want to call them, where, you know, for anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks in advance, you're going to be promoting it, talking about it, and building up in order to try to drive sales, especially at the very end when the holiday is ending, right? Or like that day actually comes. And that's where you see the most sales come in. And so a lot of that is sort of templated, so to speak, where you don't need to be like auditing every word, and it's just a waste of your time, right? It's very like, I don't want to say generic because there's a lot of trade craft to it, but you don't need to be doing it. You should be focused on the things that are going to provide leverage for you and your business. That's a very important point. So let me explain what I mean by that. When you guys are bogged down doing social media posts every single day, you know, or sending emails out, and you're doing videos on some of them, and you're doing visual posts on others, and you're sending email, and you're putting all this stuff together in MailChimp or Constant Contact or whatever you're working with, okay? And you're doing all of this work that is delegatable, that you could be delegating to someone, that just takes your energy away. And we don't have infinite energy. I don't have infinite energy. Pat, you don't have infinite energy, no. Okay? And so as a marketing director, as a CEO, I have to be very careful and think about these things, okay? You know, like as a business owner, you got to constantly be looking at like, wait, what can I delegate and what can I not? And what you want to do is delegate everything that you could possibly delegate, all right, that you can afford to delegate as well, right? And then you're left with all your energy back to focus on the things that you should be doing. And you should be doing the things that only you can do. Let me say that again. Right. Do the things that only you can do. What are those things? Painting a new piece, right? With a new subject matter that might raise the ceiling of revenue, of potential sales that your business can do because you widened the size of your market, right? If you only paint rocks and all of a sudden you start painting the Kansas City Chiefs or Santa Claus, and you're in like way bigger market sizes, right? So these are tests that you can do where you'll have the energy and the brain power to go do it, to go sit outside today, right? And go like get creative and get in your flow, get in your zone and be like, I'm just going to go try that, you know? And if you're a photographer, going and thinking about your market and your area, your city, your town, creative things that you can do in there, you know, that are local to you or maybe somewhat local. Maybe you got to drive somewhere for 4 or 8 hours to go get to the spot that you want to be at that you think is highly marketable. Well, if you've got that time back, you can just be cruising in your car and going and getting there and going and doing that. So like you need the energy to do these things. The other part about it is in your marketing, okay? So in your marketing, sometimes doing the thing that only you can do. When you're doing a selfie video and you're talking about your creative process and you're letting people into your world, I can't do that for you. An assistant can't do that for you. You need to do those. Those are more important than the delegatable stuff, like just posting your catalog of your art all the time with your description and your, you know, whatever text that you want on it every day. It's not helping you all the time. You know, those are easy to do. You got to do the stuff that is hard to do, that's only you can do. And if you have the energy to do it, you only have to do a couple of those a month. You know, you don't have to do them like every single day. The more of them you do, the better off it will be. But if you've got the energy to do these higher leverage things, that's what's going to make a real difference in your business. Again, another one is audience building, spending time to grow your followers, grow your email list. These are big things that not everybody can do for you. Why? Because if you hire somebody to grow your following for you, they could do a decent job at it, but you know your customer more than anyone. You know your audience and like more than anyone, or you should. And if you don't, you need to learn that as much as you can. That's where the custom artwork strategy can really come into play. And I won't go deep on that, but we could talk about that.
Yeah, we have a question on that. I think, you know, one of the things that I like about this new format is when they're coming in this thick and fast is that we can you know, answer them somewhat quickly on one. So if you want to go deep, go deep. Delana says, you know, how about a signature or watermark? Signatures are great. You can use signatures. Watermarks, we feel like they're a waste of time. Like it just gets in the way of viewing the image, and you know, no one. If somebody wanted to steal the work, they can steal the work. It just doesn't happen. It's just not a problem you have. You know, with the watermark, and I always love saying like you have 99 problems and a watermark's not one. Nita, yes, you do need to fix your story highlights. Your story highlights should, you know, roughly reflect the menu on your website. You know, and story highlights, just so I can go get to them, are these guys right here. This is what Nita's talking about. And you know, they're meant to be representative of some of the most important things of your brand. There are actually a tremendous amount of people that view these things because it's sort of Instagram's version of the menu on your website, right? So they do need to get updated, and you know, it doesn't have to be overnight. Like, you know, you have to make the stories to do it, but you should absolutely do it, right? Did you see this one from Autumn about the custom artwork strategy?
No, I did not.
Okay, so it's up top now. So she ran the custom artwork strategy and it worked. Damn right, it works fantastic. If they want a larger size, that's where you just get into the negotiation. Say, yeah, I was willing to do it for on the cheaper, for the smaller size. If you want to get the bigger size, you just have to raise the price. That's it. You can't lose money on it.
So your custom artwork offer should be size specific, but you should allow people larger size if you want a larger size. So let's say your 16 by 20, you know, is like $200, let's just say. Well, if it's you should tell anyone that's interested, hey, you know, if you actually want a bigger size, like a 30 by 40, I can do that. It's just $400, right? Give them the upsell options are unbelievable with the custom artwork strategy once you get somebody in. Okay. And
which she did. So
exactly, because it works. It works, guys.
Yeah.
It works, and it's a way to make a sale today and to start figuring out which direction your art business should go in.
Yeah, it's amazing thing. And someone asked about you know, art books. We love art books. Absolutely. Yeah, they're fantastic. It is a great way to round up your lineup with something that is not wall art related. And you know, one of the things about Photobooks, and will you talk for a second, because I'm going to grab one. I want to do a little show and tell.
Yes. Okay. So can ASF artists choose other merch, POD, print on demand companies for fulfillment? Yes, you can. You can self-fulfill. But we work with Guten and have a ton of options from them. And you really shouldn't need anything else. Like, this is a thing, like, Pat, we hear this all the time, you know, like, oh, well, I want to use this print on demand company or this print on demand company or whatever. Right. And it's like, how much are you selling all the time of it? How big of a problem is this? You know, because all these print on demand, by the way, these print on demand companies, they're all using the same people. It's all going. So you might have caught a bad print or a missing shipment or something like that from one, but like you get to the other and it's like, they're basically utilizing like mug printers and t-shirt printers all over the world. And so based on the location of the client, a nearby printing facility will be used and they will print it and ship it to that customer. So usually that's not the problem. And with the attention to quality that we have here at Art Storefronts, like we're not using anyone that's not great, period. Like I've been in the printing industry for 25 years with fine art and photography printing. For those of you who don't know, I was the founder of Breathing Color, one of the largest manufacturers of canvas, fine art paper, photography paper, all for high quality art and photography reproduction. So we take print on demand extremely seriously here. By the way, something that you guys probably don't know, with our print on demand service, when you have a problem at all, any problem with your print, whether it's a lost shipment or something's defective or anything, all you do is let our team know and we go take care of it for you with the printing company. Okay. That's a great start. So, and why do we do that? Because we want to take all this stuff on your plate, because once again, this is not a high leverage activity for you. We want you to have no worries. You know, you're going to get a refund. You know, you're going to get a replacement shipped out. You don't have to panic. You don't have to worry about it. You just get it over to our team and you get back to your day. You get more time back to do higher leverage marketing or to create more work or do the things that are going to actually grow your business. Okay. So this is another example of what we're trying to do to take all these things off your plate for you to help make you more successful.
Yeah. In the POD, and quickly, Autumn, Juan is reaching out. We saw your message about Copilot. I just wanted to set that at ease. Juan's going to make sure that someone follows up with you. I'm sure you saw his comment. You know, what were we just talking about? I had such a great point to make. It was about photo books. Oh, POD. POD is the single solitary greatest thing that's happened to this industry in forever. The fact that the artist or photographer no longer has to go to a printer, no longer has to warehouse stuff, no longer has minimums is so tremendous. It's such a tremendous thing. And everyone loves getting bogged down and talking about this vendor, that vendor, the quality, It doesn't matter, you guys. It doesn't matter. It's about being able to do this with the least amount of work possible. And everyone has these like crazy out of whack expectations. Like, don't worry about the crazy out of whack expectations. Get orders, acquire new customers. It's so important. You know, it's so important.
Yeah. And it's like, oftentimes the people that are like the most, you know, like picky about, you know, things like print on demand, like merch, you know, like t-shirt, you know, any of those different things. It's like, how many orders do you get a day? It's like, less than one, you know, you don't, when you see that the people who are selling a lot of art and they're selling, you know, and a lot of merch and they're selling, you know, 10 to 100 times as much as you are, and they're utilizing these high quality, print on demand people, it's like, you start realizing like there's other things that matter, you know, like how good you're able to deliver on time, your quality and consistency over time when you're doing like 10 orders a day. Like these are the things that matter. And that's why we choose who we choose to work with.
100%. And yeah, somebody asked about the custom artwork strategy for photographers. Yeah, David, it 100% works for photographers. It works glorious for both, right? And the idea with it is twofold. One, get an order, and two, start getting some ideas about new niches where people have a credit card up and they're like, hey, I'm willing to pay you for this, you know?
Yeah. Like I'll give a great example. So I live in Austin, Texas, right? Yep. And if a photographer, you know, if one of our friends, you know, was a photographer, and Pat, I know you have, you know, friends that are photographers or spouses that are photographers, right? Yep. That are in like your social circle and stuff like that. Yep. But if one of them came to me or our group, you know, a group of friends or whatever, and said, hey, I'm offering custom photography, right? And I'm going to say this in a fine art perspective, not as like a event or like, I'm going to take pictures of your kids, all that, which by the way, all of that applies as well. You know, all of that applies as well, because putting money in your pocket, you know, and getting more customers is never a bad thing for a photographer. Okay. It keeps your business going. Maybe getting that extra job is what allows you to pay for marketing to get done. So you're actually marketing your fine art business now, but you're financing it by doing one shoot a month that's custom for somebody around you, which is an easy sale, you know? But let me go back to my point. From a fine art perspective, I live in Austin. Austin has a ton of iconic locations, as does every city, town, state, right? They're everywhere. And if you just start asking people, you know, no different than a painter would say, what can I paint for you? You say, I'm offering custom shoots of any iconic location in the area, you know, and it comes with a metal print or, you know, a canvas print or whatever it is. And here's the price. What is your favorite location? What time of day? What sort of inspiration do you want in it? You know, and you can come up with creativity like that. So you make it their own, you know, they feel like they got you to go make this custom thing for them, and then you document it. And what I mean by documenting it is like, you're waking up in the morning to go take it, make a video of it, right? Talk about it, all of that stuff. Give that to them as part of the piece. And then you'll be able to use that on social media, and other people will be floored. They'll be floored. Like, oh my gosh, you offer that as a service? But this will be very interesting for you. No different than it is for a painter, because you will learn what your audience actually wants, what they're willing to hang on their walls. Okay. And when these people are local to you, it's a lot easier to get sales from local people than it is like from Japan. You know what I mean? Which would be like the hardest to do. The further away people are from you, the harder it is going to be to get a sale. And I only say that just because, the people that are following you on social media and are on your email list will tend to be friends and family. Friends and family tend to live more closely to you. And so your ability to fulfill their needs with a localized type of strategy will be easier than, a non-local strategy. In other words, selling them artwork of animals, in the wild in Africa, when nobody, 99% of them have never seen that in person and have no connection to it.
Yep, that's right. So it remains a fantastic strategy. And it needs to be deployed more. And it's a poignant reminder to us that we need to teach another session on it, because it's one of these perfect examples of one of these things that we create and then we unleash and then don't follow up enough on. So that's just a mental note for me. Yeah, Shane, we love QR codes. We advocate using QR codes all the time. COVID hit and COVID finished, and then we all showed up at a restaurant and we're like, where's the menu? And then you're like, okay, where is this thing? Let me scan this thing. Now let me look at the menu. Everyone knows how to do it. Young people, old people, everyone. So definitely leverage, QR codes wherever you can. And, if it was me, I am a down and out guerrilla marketer and always have been my entire life. Right. So one of the things that I love to do is I would slap my artwork on the back of my window on the left-hand side, and I would put a QR code right on the other when I drive around town. Enter to win this free print, right? Send me an email here, right? Like, you can, is that what you're asking me to say? You can use QR codes anywhere. They work when your artwork is hanging somewhere. They can work in social media videos. They can work on your website. Like they can work in in-person shows and fairs. You have a big QR code on the outside of the booth. Like there's so many different ways to leverage them. We absolutely do love them.
No, I'm just saying, I'm actually saying you've got your email address on the screen there, patrick@artstorefronts.com. So anybody can send you an email with a question.
Yeah, all day long. Yeah, if you like. Niche versus broad spectrum audience strategy. Post rock art versus post all black and white. Post all of it to Loa Gallery. You have to post all of it early on because you don't know what's going to work. No one does. You haven't gotten the work in front of enough eyeballs. So, so many people end up making, value-based judgments and decisions about what's working and what's not working with their finger in the air. Your finger in the air, or my finger in the air, or Nick's finger in the air does not constitute a sound business decision, right? You have to get actual feedback. So Tiago Thoda, David's got a question. I have a question. It's really hard trying to understand the algorithms. Yeah, just don't bother is the long and the short. But I have a rant on algorithms. When it comes to IG, my non-follower engagement is really low. I post every day, real stories and post. Why do you think? How much stuff, David, about non-art related stuff are you posting? I guarantee if you start posting more of that, all of that will start changing. And guys, the algorithm, like everyone loves getting wrapped up in this technical term, the algorithm. It's just the audience. The algorithm just equals the audience, right? And if you're getting engagement, you're winning. Don't think you have to outsmart this thing. All the algorithm wants is, hey, is this person that's on my platform, Instagram, giving people an experience that keeps them on my platform longer? Then you win. It's just audience. Right. That's all it is.
That's a really important point. You know what I mean? It's like your post isn't good enough. That's what it is. So what happens is the social media platforms, they are tracking whenever you stop the scroll, you guys, like there's a timer that starts and they time how long you have stopped that scroll. Okay. And all of this information, whether people like it, they stop the scroll, they click on it, they click on your profile photo. All of those things are engagement signals that that some of which you see, some of which you don't see, but Facebook is making a judgment call on the spot on how good this post is. And then based on the people who actually did stop their scroll and did engage a little bit, it looks at their demographics, and all of that. And then it says, okay, I'm going to go show it to more people that are like this because these people seem to be liking this type of post. And so your job is just to create content that people want. The algorithm is only a reflection of how good your post is.
Yeah, and I want to, Juan, do your announcement quickly because this is going to allow me to pull something up, and then I want to show you something, David.
I just realized we have a couple of customers in the Instagram live asking on how to use QR codes, how to generate them. If you have the time, in an hour from now, we have the Art Marketing 101. Join that session, and we'll be more than happy to teach you how to use them. That's
okay,
Sue. I believe it's Sue Wright and Patricia Murphy. Yep.
And that's at 11 a.m. Central.
11 a.m. Central.
And it's for private, for customers only, right?
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
I want to show you this, David. So I'm in my insights report, and Juan, will you pull his comment down so we can see the whole thing? And this is in my Instagram insights report, okay, for us. And I'm going to go to content that was shared, and this is essentially tracking the engagement over a period of the last 7 days on individual posts that we've authored at Art Storefronts. Okay. And you guys know me. What do I want to do? I'm the marketing guy. All I want to do is teach marketing all day long. If I had my druthers, every video, every post, everything on our Instagram account would just be marketing all day long. But I'm also a marketer, and I'm contrarian. And I realize that I have to give the platform different content to make it happy. And so my team recently has been creating a bunch of these famous quotes by famous artists, and the engagement on these things is off the charts. Okay. It's off the charts. This post alone got 16 follows. It reached 4,000 non-followers. It reached 14,000 followers. It's got 395 comments, and it's just a quote. It's a quote with this gal. And the reason I'm showing that to you is that's not something like Art Storefronts is not known for its quotes. Okay. That's not something that we do a whole bunch of times, but what we've done is we're constantly testing new content ideas. And when we find one that makes the algorithm equals audience, when makes the audience happy, what Instagram does is like, oh, these guys, Art Storefronts, are delivering a pleasurable experience to my users. Now I'm going to go show them more of my other content, right? It's the primary reason why I say photographers, stop hiding behind the lens. Artists, stop hiding behind the canvas. Give us a little window into your world. And I find that the easiest mental model for this is, what can I post that has nothing to do about my art? That Post-it note should be up above your desk. What can I post today that has absolutely nothing to do about my art? And when you start forcing yourself to give us a little window into who you are, what makes you tick, what you like to do in your off time, what your interests are, what your passions are, what you're struggling with, people go nuts for that. And then Instagram goes, people are really gravitating towards this content. What else can I show them in his lineup, right? In her lineup. And that's how it goes. And it's really pretty profound. And Small Cup Designs Breathing Color is absolutely what it's called. So you can Google that for sure. Hobby Boy Design.
David, change it up.
Yep.
Change up your posts. Just make them very different.
Yeah. Start firing some arrows and do
Fire
more.
Some arrows.
Yeah. Do some more non-wall art related stuff, right?
Different backgrounds, different, just change it up.
Yeah. 100%. In Hobby Boy Designs, it's disheartening when it's zero, getting the traffic and visits and still nada. Now, are you talking about sales, Hobby Boy Designs? Are you talking about getting people actually to the site and it's nada? Because that's a different problem entirely, right? Like, if you're not getting feedback on the art, if you're not getting buying questions, if you're not getting this is awesome, can I order one or can we talk about it? Then one of two things is the problem. Either you picked a subject matter material that is not resonating with the audience and will not sell. And guess what? That's not a death knell. That happens to all artists and photographers. There's just some stuff you create that people don't want. The sooner you learn that, the better, because then you can try something else, right? Or what happens more often in my experience is you really didn't get enough eyeballs on it. You're just saying, oh, I posted my art twice and I didn't get any traffic to the website and no one clicked or bought. It's like, you got to be at this for a year, posting regularly all the time. Nothing good comes easy, right? Nothing good comes easy.
The other thing is like, I think you gotta say like, yeah, it is disheartening.
For sure it is.
Like, let's just stop on that for a second, right? Like, so many people who are listening to this, like, building any business, guys, it's ups and downs, it's a lot of downs and less ups. And that's just the truth. Can we all just agree on that? Can we all understand that that's normal? Like, we got to know that. We all got to know that. Like, if you feel like you get 10 things that are like, oh man, like painful, like this isn't working, all of that, to every one win, one small win, you're normal. Okay. Building any business is hard. Building an art business is hard, but it's any business is hard. And anyone who told you any differently just, is setting you the wrong expectations, and all it does is hurt you inside for no reason and bring you more pain. You just got to keep after it. And so, Hoppy Boy, what I would say is get to the custom artwork strategy as quickly as you can. As quickly as you can. Anyone who is not selling anything, get to the custom artwork strategy now, today. Okay? Yep. Because there's a disconnect between between your talent and what you are offering and what your audience might want. And the only way to figure that out is just to ask them what they want and make it for them. Try to find a way. It's the easiest way to do it. Just get that middle ground out of the way, and start utilizing your talent to create things that people want, and you'll get some money for it, and you'll start building in that direction.
Taloa Gallery, we love that phrase. Like, this is one of the most fun things that we get to do, that Nick and I get to do, is like, everywhere you can get a website, right? You can get a website with any company you want. And the question I always say is like, okay, what are you going to do after you get the website? Because that's when the journey
begins. Which is the only thing that matters.
It's when the journey begins. That's when you actually start doing the work. And it's like, how are you going to price your art? How are you going to market on Instagram? How are you going to do all of these things? There is no unified education out there that exists that teach artists and photographers, creatives, how to monetize that creative passion and actually build a business. And we obviously discovered this a number of years ago, and it's our whole jam now. Like, these sessions that we have like this, you guys, we have 9 of them a week, 9+ of them a week. Okay. And the reason is that you guys need weekly coaching. You will need weekly coaching for the rest of your art selling career. And here's the craziest thing about it. The more revenue that you're earning in the business, the more coaching you need. The more revenue you earn in the business, the more serious the challenges get. Yes, it's hard to get launched and get off the ground. But at every stage of the business, getting to the first 10,000 in sales, getting over the 50,000 mark, getting into the 6-figure mark, getting to the 6-figure plus mark, getting to the 6-figure a month mark, going over the $1 million mark, the challenges don't change, right? Like, there is just not a detailed roadmap or plan that exists, okay, out there. And Nick, you weren't on, but like, I saw someone's email signature, okay, in an email reply this morning, and he's Professor Emeritus Art, okay, at someone somewhere in North Carolina or South Carolina. I have to ask Drew. And I was like, hey, I just saw your title. That's amazing. Can I just ask you, do you have any programs in your curriculum at that school that teach anything other than art history, that teach anything other than about the masters and about the periods and about the history, right? Like, where are the classes that exist that teach creatives, hey, in a couple of years, you're going to be out of here. You're going to start having debt on those student loans. How are you going to pay your bills with your creative talent, right? And giving people a window into like what this coaching is, it's really, it's just really, really important, right? And thank you, Autumn. I love that you're getting the encouragement. It's a great question. Nick, you got to answer this. How long did Breathing Color take greatly to go nuts? I used you years ago on my Epsons for your expansion tanks. Oh, he's old school. Expansion tanks. That was in the early 2000s. But I'm sure it wasn't an overnight success with ASF. Oh, there's a good one. How long did you grind on Breathing Color there, Nick?
I mean, it's 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
5 years, it starts getting a little bit easier. You got a brand, you've got some substantial sales and all of that. But 5 years, 5 year plus is when, as a business owner, things start getting easier, right? Yep. But as Pat said, the challenges just get greater, because if you want to like double your sales again, you're going to have to learn new things. You're going to have new mentors that have done it. You're going to need new knowledge, new information. It's not just like a linear progression. And the same thing here with art storefronts, right? We're 10 years in business, but like the first 5 years were hell, absolute hell, no different than it is for all you guys. Like wanted to quit. I've wanted to quit every business I've started. I've started 5 businesses, right? And I say this all the time, but like, it's really important. Like there hasn't been a business I've started that I haven't wanted to like shut down and quit. And when I say that, I mean like having those thoughts when you're like staring at the ceiling at night in your bed, or you're, you know, you get a bad review, you're dealing with a bunch of BS, and you're like, why am I doing this? Like, is this worth it? Am I wasting my time? Am I wasting my life? And it's a good thing I didn't quit, because you really just can't quit. If you don't quit and you keep going, you will soon realize that everyone else quits. Everyone else quits, and you will eventually be there, because it's just a process of building a business is just a process of iterating and iterating and iterating, you know, step by step, just making small changes, learning one new thing every day or every couple of days and getting better and better, managing your costs. So if you can keep your costs low, relatively low, and you can keep on going and you can find a way to make a little bit of money, like with custom artwork or whatever it is. And it might not be the thing you love. I hate to say it though, like, you know, not everything can be what you love. Okay.
Especially early on. Especially early on.
But if you just do that, you will eventually get there. It's just pressure over time. But what you'll notice is everybody else will quit and you might quit. And you'll remember that I said this, but like, I'm hoping in that moment that you remember like, hey, I just don't need to quit. What do I need to just fix right now? What's the one thing I just need to do today? Okay. Like if you're down in the dumps, we've already given you the advice. If you're down in the dumps and you're not selling anything, we gave you the advice today. The one thing you should do is not work on your website, literally throw your website away. Don't even look at it. Don't even think about it. Go do the custom artwork strategy. Go directly with your customer. Don't put a page up on your website. Have people pay you directly for it. You know, get everything out of the way, all this nonsense out of the way, and just take your talent and try to make a sale through it. It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. I would actually go as far to say, this is like a, you know, maybe a little controversial to say, but I'll say it nonetheless. What I've come to realize, and you know, Nick's a seasoned entrepreneur, I'm a seasoned entrepreneur. Our job, if I summed it up in one sentence at Art Storefronts, is just to ensure our customers don't quit.
Yep.
I'm like reticent to be that direct, but that's it. Like, you know, when you're in my position, okay, and you spent the last 3 years, just since COVID, so basically 2020, the last 4 years, talking to thousands of artists and photographers every single solitary week, 50 weeks a year or so, you know, I continually see artists in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and yes, I occasionally get them in their 90s, okay? And they've been through so many different seasons of life and so many different attempts at growing this business. And what unites them all is they're on that call saying something's not working in my business. I'm looking for a solution. And what I realize that they're missing on is they quit. They quit multiple times. The going got tough, and they're like, I can't do this anymore. This is just not working out. I can't figure this out. I'm gonna have to quit for now, right? And I realized that. It's another controversial statement, but it's Friday. We got to let these things go. The artwork doesn't matter. I'm sorry I had to say it. The artwork doesn't matter, because what you realize is, like, if you can train yourself not to quit, to keep marketing, okay, to stay at it, to be open to the fact that if the artwork doesn't sell, it doesn't mean you're a crappy artist. It just means you haven't picked the right niche and you haven't done the work to figure out how to get these ideas. Then that's when it gets crazy, because the ones that don't quit, it already puts you in the top 1 percentile of artists, because everyone quits. Everyone quits all the time. The going gets rough. You post it 3 times on Instagram, nothing happened. You know, Taloa Gallery says it exactly right. We're personal trainers at the gym, right? That's it. We're personal trainers at the gym. That's exactly what I think, right? Like, I go and see a personal trainer because I know I'm not strong enough to do it on my own. Like, yeah, okay, maybe I'm going to go out and I'm going to put my rucksack on, because that's my new thing right now. And I'm going to go walk 10 sets of stairs. But guess what's going to happen with the trainer? I'm going to walk 50 sets of stairs, because he's going to be screaming at me and saying, let's go. This was your last time. Take a 5-minute break. Do this. Like, it's so important. And I hate to like break it down to the simple things, but it is those simple things. Those are the simple things. And guess what? That's just being an entrepreneur. That's it. That's it. Right?
Yep. And it reminds me of the you know, one of my favorite quotes, right? You're the average of the 5 closest people you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
We all are. We all are. And I think I take this in 2 ways personally. Like, you're the average of the 5 closest people you surround yourself with in your personal life, and you're the average of the 5 closest people you surround yourself with in your business life, you know, in your work life, in your career life. Okay. So in your career life, who are the 5 that are around you that are closest to you that you know you're listening to all of the time? What other artists, what other art experts, what other art marketing experts or art business experts are in your life, are around you? Are there any? Are there any who have sold over $100,000, $1 million? You know, if not, it's probably your problem. You're just making decisions in a silo, in a vacuum, you know, and that's just not going to work.
No.
I mean, it's just not going to work long term, you know. And so I think that's a really important point. You're the average of the 5 closest people you surround yourself with. So just remember that, guys.
2 quick things before we get on to the next question. One, we have 15 minutes left till Instagram kicks us off. So we've got to talk about our sale because we have a huge thing ending this week. But before you do that, I'm teeing you up. 2 things. Do we have the custom artwork strategy keyed up to a keyword?
Yes, it's custom.
Custom. So Shine, I already know we've already sent it to your Instagram DM box. It's on its way. Number 2, I know we have a Zoom session today. Is the Zoom stitched up?
Yes, it is.
Okay, guys, one thing I should say is that we have, for those of you that are not customers and you are like, what does Art Storefronts do? What are the plans? What are the packages? How can I see all this? We've got a free Zoom for you. It's coming up today, this afternoon. And if you want to know who we are, what we do, it's a great way to get in there. You can raise your hand, ask questions, all the pricing. They give you a tour of the front end, the back end, all the bells, all the whistles, all the things. So if you want to attend that, you can on Instagram or Facebook. Just leave the comment with the word Zoom. Just type Zoom and we'll send you an invite to that session. And what's great is even if you can't make it, register for it anyway, because then they send you the replay. And then you can just watch it at your own, your own time this weekend or what the case may be. Now, we do have a huge sale ending this week. You want to tee that thing up, Nick?
Yeah, we'll without going into all the details, because if you request a demo or you go to that Zoom that Patrick is talking about, by the way, you can request our demo right now on our website at any time. If you just go to artstorefronts.com, there's always an orange button in the upper right-hand corner. Always, it says request a demo. Just click that, fill out the form. It takes like 10 seconds. And then one of our team members will call you and check out your art, make sure you're a good fit and all that stuff, and can run through all of the details as well in a one-on-one setting. But yeah, we've got some big discounts today that end today to join Art Storefronts. And Pat, we will set your website up for you for free. We will.
Doing it anyway.
Our team will set your website up for you according to best practices. All right, that we know for selling art online. And so if you already have a website and you want to switch over to us, we will get your website over here and our team will do it. Or if you're brand new and you've never sold art before, this is going to be your first website, we will set your website up for you. So it's a great deal if you want to take advantage of it, but it ends today. So just make sure you either request a demo, go to that Zoom, and you can take advantage of it.
Yep, 100%. For everyone else that just joined, we're answering any questions you guys have about anything. Whether you're a customer or not, if you're a customer and you need support, you can certainly leave questions. We've got Juan on that can route things here, there, and everywhere. And it's one of the fun things that we get to do as a business is look at these live broadcasts like we're just an Art Storefront store in the mall, and we're opening up the doors, and anyone can come in at any point in time and ask any questions that you have. So available to answer any and anything that you've got to go. Nick, you've got to jump. We'll see you later. One of the things that we talked about briefly at the beginning of this thing are photo books, right? And here's one from my cousin. He has the same last surname as me. And, it's amazing what he does such a good job on this because he's like a rock photographer. It's too big. I realize it's too big to show, too big of a book to show on this thing. But, the books drive the sale of originals, and the originals drive the sale of books. Okay. It is a huge, huge, huge thing to have in a lineup, and it works just as well for art as it does for photography. So I love the books. I love thinking about them, and I think they can just be incredibly, incredibly impactful. In MGB paintings, you are now my spirit animal for the weekend. The heaviest weight at the gym is the front door. Man, is that true? Man, is that so true? And I would say to you that, Everybody treats the marketing like a New Year's resolution, you guys. You sign up for the gym in January. This is going to be my year. I'm going to take the business seriously. I'm going to make it happen this year. You're going 4 days a week in the first couple of weeks of January. You're starting to feel great. Things get tough somewhere in February and March and you quit. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. You wake up, you're 80 and you're like, what have I done now? Right? What have I done now? Yeah, Debbie, we are offering books. Debbie's a customer. Shout out to the original Hardest of Hardest. A great follow that Debbie Marie and really making moves always. Yeah. So you everyone else that's asking about books, like, yes, Juan, before I shoot my mouth off, do we for sure have books, or all our customers do we?
No, we don't. No, we
Okay.
don't. Yeah.
Well, that's a big no. We don't actually have books yet. So what our customers have been doing is just been going outside and finding outside vendors and doing it. But we've been working on getting a proper book vendor in, and we're very, very close. We've been working on it for like a year. So I guess, Debbie, the answer to that question is no, not yet, but we're close. And I want all of you guys to do them. I think, like, it's such a so I've watched this happen transpire in my own house, which is one of our customers sent me a book, a different customer, and the book has sat on like this little office area outside of my wife's like little area because she really likes the work, and she now wants to buy one of these guys' pieces. She's like talking about it, and the book drove her to decide to want to do that, right? So that's a huge deal. And Patricia, don't overthink it. Start with one, right? There's just one that matters, right? You get one going and you end up winning. And Kai, it's such an important price point, right? It's just such an important price point. You can do under 100, a little bit over 100, and it's non-wall art. And like anyone that like seriously likes what you're doing, but is just not ready to pull the trigger on wall art, boom, you have something for them. It's just awesome. It's just absolutely awesome. Photos by Shane said, Insta is full of content creators. Is there a strategy within your program to pursue this form of revenue, possibly with more emphasis on this rather than selling prints? Yeah, 100% there is. Like, it doesn't matter how many different content creators there are on Instagram. It's about you worrying about the things that you can control, which is your output, right? Which is your output, and you're building the following and what you can do. Like, everyone gets wrapped up everyone gets wrapped up on what do I do? How can I stand out? It's so busy here. It's like, yeah, it is busy. It's because the whole damn world is on this thing all the time, right? All the time. So it's not a big deal. And yeah, shout out to Loa Gallery. Adam Mosseri is the head of Instagram. I share his videos in here all the time because I actually really like some of the things that he has to say about growing an art business, or about growing a business on Instagram, period. I'm going to pull him up right now.
All the time that Instagram simply has too many features.
And his name, to be honest, it's the only social media company, Instagram, that I'm aware of that actually has like a formal like head that like is talking and marketing. He does a great job marketing on his own. So he's a very, very good follow. But more broadly, it's just focusing on your ground game. Like there's so many different ways to learn, and there's so many creators out there doing it a whole bunch of different ways. But if you focus instead on the number of pieces of content that you create a week, okay, and you stay focused on that, and you stay focused on that for a year, you end up learning all the tricks, and you end up learning what works for you. You definitely have to apply your creativity to it, try a bunch of different things, but don't stress about, all these content creators. You got to just focus on what your ground game is, right? It's one of these things that I laugh at all the time, because we are a brand that markets heavily on the social media sites. I mean, we're posting like 150 to 200 pieces of content on Instagram a week. And a lot of times people will go, yeah, I saw you guys art storefronts and I checked out a couple of your reels on Instagram and they were good, but you have like 6 views on those reels. So why would I take any of your advice? And I'm like, you don't build a business on the number of views you got on a reel. You build a business based on cold, hard cash coming into your account. We're really good at doing that. And we're really good at ignoring the bullshit metrics that don't matter. One of which is views on reels. Views on reels do not build a business. There is a reason there is no button on the ATM machine that says reels views that you can press to spit out money. Okay. All of us have to be focused on the bottom line, right? And the bottom line for you guys is, are people contacting you about your art? Are you capturing email addresses and are you selling it? That's the only thing that matters. None of the rest of it matters. And guess what? You only need one. You only need one person, okay, to do that. So that's what I love saying. You know, photographer's page on your site is down, but the site looked, oh, that's Taloa Gallery. Okay. Yeah, I love that there's two Native Americans, both speaking two Native American tongues, all on one Instagram Live. Instagram Lives are amazing. All right, Instagram's about to kill my broadcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. For those that are watching, if you want to enjoy the Zoom today, definitely type the word Zoom on this thing, and we'll send you an invite for that session this afternoon, which is awesome. And then you'll probably see me live a little bit later this afternoon. And Instagram needs to relinquish this hour time limit. Otherwise, I would keep going. But thank you guys all. Thank you for the positive comments. I love that you guys are all asking questions. Please keep asking the questions anytime these things are going, because it's way more fun to ask questions that you guys have, that real struggles that you guys have, rather than just dead air and talking about nonsense the whole time. So appreciate all of you guys. Have an absolutely wonderful Friday, and I'll see you on upcoming live broadcasts.